One of them is in Johannesburg. We're joined by the Wits University School of Arts head, David Andrew. While in Cape Town, from our Sea Point studios, we're joined by arts facilitator and author Anne Gadd. Guys, thank you very much for joining me here on Morning Live. And let me start off by saying Happy New Year to both of you.
Thanks very much, Sam. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to start with David. What is it, David, with parents, it unsettles parents when they think of their young one wanting a career in the art industry? Maybe it's misinformation, maybe it's this perception that arts is, like I said in the intro, there's nothing serious about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that perhaps that's the key thing, that there's not enough information out there with parents, with learners, about the arts and culture industries. And I think that one of our key tasks is perhaps to try and address that. And I think that there are many initiatives that are looking at this. I think at the Ministry of Arts and Culture, for instance, their Cultural Industries Academy project, which we hope will get underway in this year, 2014, that will certainly do a great deal to address this area. But I think it's also incumbent upon those people that are leaders in the field to put something back into this area, to maintain contact with schools, to go back into schools, to go back into community centres, and to ensure that that information is out there.
And I want to bring you into this conversation, same question I threw at David, just the whole concept with parents, and when they talk around this time of year about that focus in terms of where your career will be going or the career that you should be pursuing. Talk to me about just your experience as a facilitator.
Well, I am myself a full-time artist, and that's why I wrote the book that I did on making a living from art, because I saw there was a huge gap between people who had artistic talent and actually making it a sustainable income. And so I think many parents' perception perhaps is not completely incorrect, because until that gap is bridged, either it doesn't work out and the artist then has to find a career in a sort of parallel field, so art direction, advertising, that kind of thing. It's not an easy area to succeed in. You have to have a tremendous amount of hard work ethic, drive, and also the talent and creative ability.
But I know so many people that have business degrees, but they're not in business, they can't find jobs, they didn't crack it in that field. Are we not being a bit unfair to the arts industry?
In what way?
Well, I mean, we talk about this perception that parents have that if my child goes into any of the various industries, and there are many within the arts industry, that he won't be financially successful. But I personally know loads of people that have studied other things, are chemical engineers, they're doctors, and they didn't crack it, they didn't make it, they couldn't find jobs.
Doesn't it all boil down to work ethic? Doesn't it boil down to actually having the passion for what you're doing to succeed? So even if you do get rejected, you still find within yourself the courage to continue doing what you love doing.
David, I want to bring you in there because my point is it's about the misconception that if you study to be a doctor, that you will be successful. But I know many doctors that are not successful. And I know artists that are some that were very lucky, some that have studied, they've got degrees behind them, and they are successful too.
Look, I think that one of the things that we should realize is that, speaking from our point of view at the Wits School of Arts, our primary project, I suppose, is to ensure that the next generations of artists, performers, are going out there into the world. But I think that just as much as that is happening, fantastic artists, performers, musicians, photographers going out into South Africa, the continent, the world, there are a whole range of other things that people are going into that are related to those areas that are equally important. I think of the arts managers, I think of people working in museums and galleries, I think of the writers working in arts, I think of people working in arts education, for instance. And I think that these areas are equally important, and they become part of this cultural industry.
For sure. Guys, we've unfortunately run out of time, but I'm going to put this back on the agenda. We need to have a detailed discussion around this as people are still focusing on their career paths and all that. David, thank you very much for joining me. That, of course, is David Andrew, who's the head of the Wits School of Arts and arts facilitator and author, and Gad from our Sea Point Studios in Cape Town, talking to us and helping you, helping shed some light on some of the issues around careers. We take an ad break. We will pick up this topic.